So happy end of June. Can you believe it? It's like, what happened? All right. Happy Pride weekend. Yes. So we are wrapping up this month's theme, the soul's call. And it's been a wonderful journey. The first week, we looked at how our pain is perhaps pushing us away from something that was out of alignment with our deepest desires and towards a higher vision of good, of all that we desire to be in this world. So that pain can actually be a fertilizer for our growth if we're willing to lean into it, not just resist it or try to bypass it, but to see how it could actually be for us if we were to integrate it and allow it to transform us. And through that process, that led us to the next week, which we talked about forgiveness. Forgiveness is such an important spiritual practice, and it really we invited you to look at it as a daily part of our spiritual growth and our spiritual practice. Forgiveness is really something you do for yourself, yes? Just like an emotional house cleaning we talked about. And if you don't clean your house for 10 years, it's going to get some creepy crawlies in the corner. So you got to clean those out, right? And then last week, we looked at the evolution of consciousness that's being guided by love. And we noted how far we have come on various social issues, yet there is still so much work to do in order to create the beloved community, to embrace change as a part of our soul's evolution in order to create a world that works for everyone. So today, as we wrap up this series of our soul's call, we look at the topic of our soul's call to freedom. And we're going to be approaching this from the lens of freedom of self-expression, of freedom to be, of freedom to know ourselves more fully and to express life more fully. We're looking at how we can express that beingness that is unique to us more boldly and unapologetically in the world as a divine expression of this one life. So we must recognize the divine within ourselves and free ourselves by knowing that we are metaphysicians who heal ourselves first. Harriet Tubman could free others because she first freed herself, yes? So Dr. Ernest Holmes, who wrote the Science of Mind textbook, he says, as the inner light dawns, it delivers the outer life from bondage. This is in line with the teaching that everything is from within out. When the soul knows freedom, the law will free the body, and the outer life will express health, happiness, and success, because all things work for our good. Suffering should teach us a lesson, he says, which would cause us to refrain from making more mistakes, and it carries a blessing with it when we learn how to garner the knowledge from that experience. So simply put, we do our work within and it expresses without. And when we are willing to do our work and to lean into that discomfort, we can see something that needs to be transformed within in order to experience our heart's desires without in this kind of world of form that we live in. So change and transformation, as we talked about last week, can perhaps be difficult.
You think?
Many of us resist it. It's definitely not something we're comfortable with. It doesn't
kicking and screaming.
Yep, kicking and screaming, that's right. But it doesn't have to be as hard when we get in alignment with what is actually calling us forth. So when we know that that change is actually for something that we can see right here, that we know is this higher vision for us, it is much easier to allow that change to move through us by kind of getting into the flow of what is calling us, as opposed to just resisting it because we don't want to change and because it's easier to stay in our comfort zone, right? Through connecting with that divine urge of something that wants to be expressed freely through us, we can open up to new possibilities and see things that perhaps from where we were before, we couldn't see. That limited state of mind that, when you're stuck in a problem, all you can see is the problem, and then someone else can come in and be like, oh, try this. And you're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Because our minds, right, can get so narrowed in on the problem. Opening up to something bigger allows us to see something more clearly and to express that life through us, within, as within, without, yes? So there's a quote that is attributed to Einstein, according to memes in the internet, which I had in this outline and shared with Reverend Soni. She goes, are you sure Einstein said that? And I was like, you know what? The internet is a crazy thing. Let me investigate. So upon further investigation, I found out it is actually an unknown quote that kind of comes out of this allegory of the education system, right? Of not wanting to put kids in certain boxes and things like this. So I'm still going to share the quote, but it's not from Einstein. Just so you know. You might see it on the internet. It's not true. But it's a great quote, whoever said it. And it goes like this. Everybody is a genius. Great. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. Yes.
That's a great quote.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I think I wrote that.
Oh, I think that's why Reverend Soni knew it wasn't Einstein, because she wrote it. She's taking the credit. You're that old. Oh, now. But isn't this true, right? When we judge ourselves or others thinking that they should be some way that is not our unique way of being, then it limits us, and we can tend to think others are stupid or ourselves are stupid. But when we get into knowing that we are all a unique divine expression with our own gifts and talents to share with this world and our own way of being in this world, we can turn to that place of actually being able to celebrate that. Celebrate what makes us unique. Celebrate those gifts and talents that we have uniquely instilled within us. Yes? And, if we try to live our life in the mold of someone else, it's going to be a struggle. And even you may have a mentor or someone you admire that, in your field or whatever it may be, but still, if you try to do things just like them, you're going to run into resistance because you are a unique expression of the divine. And you are here to authentically share your voice in this world. So stop trying to be someone else or do something the way someone else would do it if it's not authentic to you. It may work great for someone else. It may bring someone much success, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily your way or your path to do it. Only you know that. And it's that soul's calling within your own being. So the call to freedom is simply to be yourself. And I say simply because it sounds like, great, that's an easy answer. I thought it was going to be some complicated thing. Just like your purpose is to love yourself. But yet, that's kind of that's the work. Be yourself, love yourself, right there. It sounds so simple. And that's the work. And that's what we're here for. And that's why we have this community to remind each other, to see the light in each other when we forget ourselves, and to build each other up, to have each other's backs. Yes? That's what I love about spiritual community. So we have to know that as we be ourselves in this world, that the universe, the world around us, rather, will adapt. The world around us will adapt as we step more fully into our authentic being. But it takes some unraveling of the conditioning and the expectations of others and society to stand boldly, confidently in the truth of who you are. I was reflecting, I was talking with friends the other night, and I was reflecting on how, when I look back at my kind of teenage years, how much I didn't know who I was. And the simplest way to kind of explain this is through my hair. And I know it sounds like, what? But I was looking at this picture from high school graduation, and I was standing there with two of my best friends, and we all had long blonde hair. Well, the thing is, mine was bleached blonde hair. Theirs was natural. So today, they look pretty much the same. I look completely different. And if I think of who I am today, who I would want to be most expressed as back then would probably have short, spiky, hot pink hair. But I wasn't bold enough then. I didn't know who I was, and I was still coming to be, growing up in the suburbs of Atlanta and taking in all that conditioning and finding out who I was. And so it wasn't really until after college even, I traveled for a year doing children's theater and got to have all these unique experiences. And then I moved to Chicago. And in Chicago, I really felt like I landed in who I am. You just feel like, this is me. And that also came along with the time that I came out about my sexuality. So it makes sense that all of these things kind of being revealed come together to where I finally felt confident and at home in my body as well as my outward expression. And I so admire the youth of today because they are coming out younger and younger. They are embracing, gender nonconformity and sexuality being fluid, and there's so much less judgment. And what I know is because we have paved the way. Previous generations have fought the fight so that today's youth can be supported when they come out. Yes? Just an example, the other day at our neighborhood pool, a 13-year-old came up to me and introduced herself and asked me what my pronouns were. I loved that.
What's your
pronoun?
pronoun?
Like, who are you?
What's your pronoun?
My pronouns are she, her, hers. I know. And then she wished me a happy Pride. It was like last weekend, I think, and I was like, well, thank you, happy Pride. So, this is it just warmed my heart, really. It really did, because, we've come so far, and we know there is work to do. There's still work to do. I was watching this documentary on Netflix. I'll share it in the Facebook group afterwards so you can have it. It's a great resource. It's called Disclosure. It's on Netflix, easy to find. And it's about the representation of transgender and non-binary folks in the media, but specifically in Hollywood and in films. And folks, mostly actors and actresses, shared from their perspective, and trans actors shared from their perspective what it was like not seeing a healthy representation of themselves in media. And the few roles that these actors were given were of prostitutes or psychopaths, characters who were hiding their biological identity, and it always seems to have a tragic ending. Mm-hmm. So today, trans people have much more visibility, but there's still work to be done, because what comes with that visibility, honestly, is rising to the surface even more fear and hate. So it's like we just have to know that progress is being made, and that a step towards it is that visibility, and then it takes some time for the world to adapt around us, right? And we can see part of that demonstration is normalizing the they-them pronouns. That's becoming more and more in our everyday society, and people are here or there where they are, but for the most part, I'd say people are at least willing to learn, even if it's new. And so we are expanding our definition of gender and sexuality and understanding it's on a spectrum. What we know is that we are an embodiment of the divine, and we are here to express this uniqueness in a multitude of ways. How boring would it be if we were all the same, right? if we all expressed the same, if we all looked the same, if we had the same culture and interest and sexuality and all of that, it would be a boring world. So we are here to express uniquely for a reason. The diversity of life, the freedom to express ourselves, in my opinion, is what makes this world so magnificent and such a fun place to explore. I love learning about people and to explore this thing called life that is having its way through each and every one of us as a unique expression of the divine.
And the truth is, Reverend Rainbow, we were not born to fit in at all. We were born to stand out. Y'all know the song Born This Way, Lady Gaga?
Baby, I was born this way.
Yeah. All right. So you know it. I'm beautiful in my own way, right? Because God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby.
I was born this way.
So regardless of what anyone says, our unique gifts have a purpose. And as you alluded to before, our purpose is, in my opinion, to love ourselves. And if you can think about it like this, while our purpose is to love ourselves, our responsibility is to be ourselves. And when we are authentically ourselves, what happens is we begin to stand in our own power. The more we express ourselves authentically, the more we inspire others to do the same. And this is how we create a world that works for everyone. To be ourselves while showing unconditional love and acceptance for others who are expressing themselves authentically. And all of this, in turn, answers our soul's call to freedom, because we no longer have to judge ourselves or for not living an authentic life. We no longer have to beat ourselves up and feel guilty for not living an authentic life. And make no mistake about it, this freedom that we're talking about today comes with responsibility. June, of course, is Pride Month, and it celebrates the Stonewall riots that occurred at the end of June in 1969 in New York City. And this is a time, this month especially, is a time for the LGBTQ community to celebrate their authenticity. We also celebrate on October 11th as National Coming Out Day. And some of you may wonder why LGBTQ individuals might need a coming out day. Well, at the first Gay Liberation March in New York City in June of 1970, one of the organizers stated that we will never have the freedom and civil rights we deserve as human beings unless we stop hiding in closets and in the shelter of anonymity. Powerful statement. This movement to come out has supported millions of individuals in ending internalized self-hatred and to come out despite associated risks. People have lost their entire families because they came out. People have had to suffer through conversion camps because they came out. People have died because they came out. It also shows, though, that coming out can be used to build solidarity, to set an example, and to inspire. For example, in 1978, in his campaign to defeat a California initiative that would have banned gay teachers from working in state public schools, openly gay elected government official Harvey Milk urged people, come out wherever you are. And he gambled that if queer people told their friends that they were gay, Californians would realize that they had friends and co-workers and family members who were gay, and out of solidarity and love for those individuals would oppose the proposition. The campaign helped defeat the initiative. Harvey Milk paid the ultimate price
Yeah.
for being an out gay man. He was assassinated in November of 1978. Now, let me say that coming out in order to live openly isn't something you do once or even once a year. It is a decision that we make every single day of our lives. Every coming out experience is unique and must be navigated in the way most comfortable and safe for the individual, whether it's for the first time ever or the first time today. Coming out can be a grueling journey. It is also a very brave and sometimes painful decision to live authentically. Some of you may have read or seen on the news recently where an NFL player came out. The struggle that he went through to do that, we have no idea. But it was a brave thing to do. Reverend Rainbow talked about the transgender community becoming more visible in America than ever before. But that visibility has come with a deadly cost. The year 2020 saw the most murders of transgender and gender nonconforming people in the United States ever recorded by the Human Rights Campaign. And this year is on pace to be deadlier, with at least 27 deaths so far across the U.S. and Puerto Rico. And the Black community is being hit way harder. So we have a very, very long way to go. C.S. Lewis said that integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. So what is the right thing? What is the right thing, and who decides what a world that works for everyone really is? So I thought about it a lot, and you know, maybe doing the right thing means doing what is best for the greater or common good. Maybe it means making decisions that are not based on your own personal needs, that don't expand your personality or popularity, or enforce your personal needs and beliefs. Maybe doing the right thing means preserving life instead of destroying it. Maybe doing the right thing means not hating someone for the color of their skin or how they dress or how they identify themselves. How about doing the right thing means simply letting people be who they are? You see, what's happened is self-serving materialism has led us to treat each other and our beautiful planet and its wondrous life forms as objects to be exploited rather than as the living tissue of our own being. The truth is, we must all find new ways of retelling the old stories of decency and love and cooperation and support. It's our responsibility to create new myths of stewardship and service to displace the warrior image and the screen idols who idealize and glorify violence and conquest. We must let in the light in 100,000 ways to show how we can all walk together into the future and know at every step we are doing our very best to do the right thing.
So this week, we invite you to consider a few questions, to think, how often do I show up authentically? If I were living a life of freedom, how would my life look? And what is my soul's desire? The truth is, we are what we've been waiting for. And any challenges we've ever faced in our life has prepared us for this now moment. Now is the time to commit to showing up authentically and choosing to live the life we've always dreamed. And the more we choose to live authentically, the more we inspire others to do the same. When we show unconditional love and acceptance for others, we are serving as an example. And if we want to experience more unity and peace and joy in the world, we have to commit to experiencing those qualities within our own lives first. So consider that the most radical thing you can do is to be yourself and challenge yourself to know yourself more fully in order to express yourself more fully. Allow yourself to get curious around what really brings you life, what makes you feel alive. And it may not be the same things that it was 5 or 10 years ago, because as we've been talking about this evolution of our soul, the evolution of our collective consciousness as well, we are always growing and expanding. So having a moment to check in and like, is this still what I value? Is this still authentically me to shop at this place, to express in this way, to have my hair this way, whatever it may be? Check in with yourself and see how you are showing up authentically and where you might want to make some different choices. Where you spend your money is another example of seeing, is this in alignment with my own integrity and my own authenticity to give my dollars to this place? And to know that you are a unique expression of the divine. And what makes this world so much fun is when we all show up in our unique aliveness. So I want to end with this quote from Alice Walker from The Color Purple. I am an expression of the divine, just like a peach is, just like a fish is. I have a right to be this way. Yes.
I'm coming to next Sunday as a blonde.
All right, let's do it. I might come with pink hair. All right, so let's take this into prayer, taking that nice deep breath. And just settling into this now moment, allowing your breath to bring you ever more present, ever more awake and aware of this thing called life that is living and moving and having its very being in, as, and through each of us. To know that this life, what we may call God, Spirit, universe, the divine, is love. So therefore, we are love. For there is only one thing expressing right here, right now. I know this to be love. I know this to be peace. I know this to be freedom, to be creativity. So I take this breath right here, right now, anchoring into the oneness of all life and feeling into that interconnection and that way that there is an energy, a source back of all things that is not only moving through me, but moving through every living thing. So in this moment, from this place of oneness and connection, I choose to see and to be love in action. I choose to see and to be peace in action. I choose to express myself authentically, freely, fully, boldly, unapologetically, as I know that I am a unique expression of the One. I'm so grateful to know that I can simply be who I'm here to be, and it is the greatest gift I can give to this world. I know that I am free to be, that I was born this way. I know that this life is expressing through me, not only uniquely, but through the capacity to create and to express creatively in ways that awaken the senses through art, through beauty, through divine expression. That I get to live in this colorful world and I get to be a part of creating it, to bringing more life and color to this world through my unique expression. I know who I am, and what I say matters. Who I am matters. And I'm so grateful to get to know myself, to get curious, and to get to express myself uniquely, boldly, as a divine expression of the One. So with great gratitude, I just accept this word that has been spoken as I pass to Reverend Soni to add her word.
And as I consciously take a deep breath in, knowing that there is only one source of all things, in back of all things, I know this source, this great and beautiful thing that we call the universe, living and inspiring itself as me. I know that as I consciously take this breath in, I declare that I, right here and right now, am living my life authentically. And that in turn spreads out in 1,000 points of light, supporting each and every individual and living their lives as the beautiful beings they came here to be. I know that this power and this presence that works in, through, and as me right now simply translates into the physical world as amazing and beautiful, as calm, as love, as generosity, as grace. And so I declare and know and anchor in that it is all of that and so much more, and that as it is the truth of me, it is the truth of each and every individual within the sound of my voice. And so I know that right here and right now, no matter where anyone may be in this community, in the world, listening online, that no matter where we are in life, that life is calling us forward, is calling us into that great next greater yet to be, into that evolution of our souls, standing in our own power, declaring and knowing that as this community, we are simply blessed to be a part of something greater that is being called forth for the world. Changeless yet ever changing. This amazing, beautiful life, this amazing, beautiful beingness. And so I'm so grateful to know that I can stand in my own power. I'm so grateful to know that this community is connected in thousands of ways, reaching out and reaching in, authentically, magnificently. And so it is with a grateful heart that I simply release this word into the law, knowing that the law always says yes. It always says yes. It always says yes.
Yes.
I stand in the power of yes, the place of grace, by saying Shalom, Hamdalela, Ashe, Namaste. This prayer is done. I leave it knowing it is so, and so it is.
So it is.